Hello, beautiful friends. Heather here. This transmission is for transmuting fear into trust. An activation for transmuting fear into trust. So we're going to talk about it first. And remember that the talking is as much of an activation as the light language. Not only that, but it's allowing you to expand because of the things I'm talking about, you may not have heard before. I don't know. Maybe you have. But if you have, maybe it's reconfirming things or maybe it'll resonate different. So it's an activation because I'm here to empower you. I'm not just here to bust out a light language and be like, yay, light language. I mean, that's cool too, right? I mean, it's super powerful. It's definitely amazing. And that's a tool. But at the same time, this is all about expansion, expanding our consciousness, expanding our field, raising our vibrations. And so that's what I'm here to help empower us, each and every one of us. And it helps empower me by teaching these things because we're all the student and the teacher. So as you learn things, then you're capable of teaching them. And once you embody things, then that adjusts your frequency, and just you being around people is activating them. So you're doing divine work, whether or not you feel like you are. You know, you might be like, oh, I wonder if I'm fulfilling my divine purpose. You are. If you're expanding and you're watching light language videos, that's expanding you. So you're doing it. You're definitely doing it. And I am grateful for you. And I honor your journey. And I'm here for you. My email's down below if you want to contact me. Leave a comment. I love to respond to my comments. I also am taking appointments and also selenite necklaces for sale. So if you want the long and ball and chain, or I do the black satin necklaces, those are $30. Or you can just do the charm that I put together. And that the charm alone is just $25, and all this plus shipping. So you can email me, give me your address, and then I'll ship it out and let you know what the total is. And then you can just go ahead and PayPal me. And so there's that. So let's talk about activating and transmuting fear into trust. Because let's face it, fear shows up in so many different ways in our world. And fear is, like, I hear many people say this, that there's two emotions. There's two main emotions. So there's love and fear. And fear is very, very, very low vibe. That's what the control energies have had us in, is fear. Fear of everything. We were afraid, gosh, over a year ago, we were all afraid we weren't going to have toilet paper. You know, like they were like, yes, we've got them. They're scared, you know. So we need to really transmute this fear, because energy just doesn't disappear. It needs to be transmuted. So that's a choice. So number one is set our intentions. The minute you start feeling your vibe shift, and you catch yourself, I intend to shift my vibe. Boom, right there, intention to shift your vibe up. So intention, all the time. You can intend every day. I choose to be on my highest I choose to embody my highest vibration. Boom. Then your teams and your higher self will let you know if fear is creeping in. The minute it does, I choose to transmute the fear. There's so many different ways to transmute fear. So just by choosing to, you're just going to choose to. You can call in the violet flame. The violet flame is transmutation. That's what the violet flame is transmutation. And you can claim to be the violet flame in manifestation and in action. So you can call that right in the minute the vibes are coming up. And at this point, with the light being so fast, it's almost as though you don't really even need to know what's triggering you. You just need to know that you're being triggered. I mean, oftentimes it'll show itself to you because there's deeper work, which that's amazing too. Then great, then step into that, embrace it, and release the fear, because when you move through it, then it all transmutes. And once, I can tell you from my experience, once we start transmuting these things, they fall away and you never remember them. You may have remembered these things your whole life, stuff that happened to you when you were a child, depending on how old you are, whatever, your whole life. And it may have just kept resurfacing and resurfacing. Now at this point in our journey of awakening, when we transmute things, they're falling away. You pull the strengths and you let go of the rest. You transmute those lower vibrational energies. You're bringing everything into the field of neutrality, into the 0 point field. That's the point. So you feel the fear. I choose to bring things into neutrality, into the 0 point field. And my teams are saying, remind them that they might want to rewatch this and write notes. So, because I'm using a lot of keywords here, and there might be things you might be like, ooh, that word resonates with me. I'm going to use that in my intentions. So just saying, at free will, do as you please, but teams just came through. So that even could be your higher self, like, because we maybe are a part of a collective together. And so we're connected. There's a reason why you're watching my videos. We're connected in one way or another. I mean, we're in the human collective together. So there's that. Okay, back to the fear. What are the other things that fear arises with? Fear arises with just awakening, because we don't know where we're going. Nobody gave us a manual. They're just like, oh, we didn't even know we were going to wake up. We were just asleep. We were just cruising. And then one day we're like, oh, I'm having a spiritual awakening. That's how it worked for me. I woke up one day and was like, I'm having a spiritual awakening. So nobody gave us a manual. So there could be fear around that. So the opposite of fear is trust. So we're stepping into trusting. There's no way that Source Creator or one infinite creator, whether you want to call it God, Allah, Jah, whatever you call our creator, there's no way that we would have endured all of these lifetimes in this human 3D existence to expand our soul and to learn all these things in order for things to get worse. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's going to be some trials, there's going to be some stuff coming up, which brings up another level of fear again. So fear with our awakenings, let's release that and start trusting, because there's no way Source is like, aha, I tricked them. Totally going to mess with them. They think they're all waking up into their oneness and I'm going to mess with them. That's just not happening. And then so the other things is, the dark forces are still playing. And if this doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. There's lots of other channels to watch and things to do. So please only take what resonates and leave the rest, and blessings. So there's other things, that could maybe happen that the dark forces have in mind to try to trigger fear. Because there's a lot of people who still aren't awake yet. And so let's say, the power goes out and, things like that. That's going to trigger fear. Well, go within. Transmuting fear, different ways to transmute that kind of fear. So let's say the power goes out, all this stuff goes out, and all of a sudden you can't reach your friends on the phone. You can't reach your buddies. First of all, if that's a concern for you, go with trust right now. Let's neutralize it right now. Step into trust. Ask your teams, ask yourself, what can I do to prepare so I'm not in fear if something like that happens? And I'm not saying it's going to, but what can you do to prepare yourself so that you're not in a state of fear? You go buy some canned goods if that resonates, or some vegan dehydrated soups from the health food store. Prepare yourself. Grab a couple extra rolls of toilet paper. Prepare yourself. And that way you're not going to be in fear. For me and some of my soulmates, we're working on our telepathy, because that's real. We can connect energetically like that. We're that powerful. That might be new for you, and that's okay. But that's a reality of ours. In 5D, we're all telepathic. So that's what we're heading into. So if you're ready for that, call it forth. Again, with all of this, trust when you call it forth that it will show up for you in the way that it resonates for you, because we're all differently. Okay, so fear. Fear that we're not connecting with our teams right. Oh, I'm not doing it right. Now let's back up on that. Release the fear and trust, because the unseen is all around us. The unseen is all around us. So they're here, and all of us connect differently. The way you're not going to connect necessarily the way I connect. The way that my friends and I connect, we all connect differently. My best friend Lisa, dude, the way that she connects to spirit is amazing. It blows my mind. And I even said the other day, I was like, wow, I wish I could connect like you. And she's like, wow, I wish I could connect like you. And it's like, spirit came right through. Like, you guys both connect beautifully. And it's how we put it together that's even more magical than it synergizes. So to release fear that you're not connecting with your teams properly, release fear that you're not going to receive the messages. Because the minute you step into that vibe of fear that you're not going to do it right, you're creating that. So you have to step into the trust. So let's transmute all that fear. What are some other ways that fear comes up? Wow. Okay, so my life has changed drastically in the last couple years. The people I used to hang out with, no longer. The food that I eat, no longer. I mean, everything has changed. The way I earn money has changed. My family dynamics have changed completely. And I had fear that I wouldn't be supported. I did. And I had to transmute that and release and trust. And as it turns out, the family members that I separated myself from, they're basically like disappearing. And then the ones that I maybe even wasn't even that connected to, those connections have strengthened. And they are so proud of me and everything that I'm doing and everything that I'm going through. And I mean, I just had my birthday the other day, and my dad's ex-fiance sent me flowers. She's not where we're at on this awakening path. And she sent me flowers and is like, I'm so proud of you and the freedom you're stepping into. Amazing. So we've got to release the fear. Yes, we're being called to step into a lot of change. We are. We're not going into 5D carrying 3D on our back. We're not going to be creating a 3D world in the 5D. If somebody's not ready to ascend into the higher vibrational realms, that's okay. We also need to release that, because that's okay, because there's other realms where they'll be able to keep doing 3D once we go into full shift. But right now, yeah, a lot of us are living in two worlds. We're in between worlds. I have so many decks of oracle cards, and they, like, many of them have cards about this. And we're in between worlds. And that just is. So we've got to release the fear. So releasing fear of the change, you know. Will I be supported? Oh, I'm scared if I leave my job that I thought I needed, you know, to support this big house and this and that and the next thing. Well, once you start following these changes, hearing all kinds of noises in the forest, that's okay. I'm going to release fear. But so once we start like allowing for these changes, if we're following our guidance and our heart's desire and our guidance, everything's going to be okay. Trust me. You will be met in equal or greater measure. It's just time we're being called to release the fear. What else? Fear. Okay, there's another thing. And Spirit came to Lisa and I about this like at least a month and a half ago or so. And they said, you're going to have to tell everyone it's a story. And we didn't know what that was about at the time. And things are starting to come out. And I'm not saying this is going to happen. So I'm just saying, if there's something that comes up about, you know, that we're getting attacked by alien forces or something, use your discernment. Please go within and check within, because there's no way that our brothers and sisters are going to put us in harm's way. Okay, they're from higher vibrational collectives, and they're not going to put us in harm's way. But there are some dark forces that would like us to think that. So please be aware, because there's so much computer graphic stuff out there that they can make this stuff look very, very, very real. And the point is to scare people and put them in a lower vibrational frequency of fear. So please, again, I'm not saying anything's going to happen. I'm not predicting anything, and we don't want to create anything because we're that powerful with our thoughts. But I'm just saying to please use your discernment, because when you go within, that's when you're going to really be able to feel the vibes and ask yourself, is this something that I need to be of concern about? I'll tell you what, fear is not going to be the answer. There's not fear. You can ask, what do I need to know now? How do I move forward? Those kinds of things. But fear is definitely not going to be your answer. So move into trust so you can go within. Okay, let's get back on topic here. Transmuting fear. Another big one for transmuting fear is your breath. To return to your breath. Your breath is life. Your breath is source. Return to your breath. Fear, trust. Fear comes from up here, from thought. Trust comes from feeling, right? Of course, we're going to get to the field of neutrality, but we've been up here a lot for a long time, for many lifetimes. So when fear is going on, usually we're repeating old patterns, old thought patterns and this and that, and it's fear, fear, fear. Boom. Breathe. Breathe. Breathe from your gut. Use your diaphragm. Breathe. You can picture breathing in your heart. You can take your consciousness from your brain into your heart space. Bring your consciousness down. Bring yourself to breath. Bring yourself to center. Another thing with breath too is to take a pause. When you're doing these deep breathing, pause at the top of your breath, pause at the release of the breath, at the in and the out, pause. That's the 0 point field. When you're in that pause, that's the pure potentiality. That's the infinite, is that pause. So I digress. All right, Spirit, is there anything else more that we need to add to talking about fear? They're probably going to chime in. I'm going to start the light language transmission. So let's go there. Also, please read the description. That's an activation in itself. The words that I use, I'm just reading that out. When you're reading that, that's an activation in itself. So please read the description. Again, free will, do as you please, but I highly recommend it. I believe in you guys. We're releasing fear. You're already well on your way. Well on your way. So let's trust, because that's, fear, trust, fear, or love. We're going to go with love. We're choosing love. We're choosing the light. You can call in the violet flame. And that's Saint Germain. Saint Germain works with the violet flame. So do the archangels. You can just say, I call in the archangels. Don't do it in a panic, right? I kind of displayed that wrong. But you can call in the archangels and call in Saint Germain and transmute the fear. It's not serving you. It's not serving any of us. And you're not alone, okay? Like I just dipped like a week ago. I had something come up and my teams were like, boom, check yourself. So know that you're not alone. We're all going through this, okay? If we weren't going through it, we wouldn't be here. We're here, we're all going through it. So you're not alone. Compassion with yourself. Okay, here comes the light language. Sit up straight. Open up your light column. Breathe in the light. Open up and allow. Oye, me, hey, que te, so toy, ana matatas, hey, que te, so toy, que tan masatas, hey, que te, oi, me, toy, asatas, hey, que te, oi, te, so toy, matatas. Hey, moe, ah, ha, 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 ha. Hey, 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 hey. Oye, te. Oye, moe, ta, 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 ta. Okay, they're saying, And this goes with all light language, but your intentions to anchor these codes. I intend to anchor these codes, because if we anchor these codes into our field now, we're going to hold them there. And when those fear situations arise, these codes are going to activate because we'll need them at that point. So choose to anchor your codes, please. Again, free will, do as you please. But that's what Spirit is telling me, to anchor your codes. Set the intention to anchor your codes. Eketea sa toea hoe maha te ekete oe lehe moto toea mo ineni oe moe ingeni moe moe ngoe moe ne ngoe mo ne ore matata o moto toea hara matata ekete ro moto toea ketara masatas eketea sa toea he moto toea ketara masatas eketea sa te toea la hama atatas Eketea sa toere he mete ekete roto toe hama amatatas. Eketea sa toere he moto toe hama atatas. Amoe he amotatas. Ekete moto toe hama atatas. Okay, they're saying that you guys are all expanding fast. You're doing great work. Your energy is expanding, whether you believe it or not, or you're seeing it. So maybe even to take inventory. If you're, having one of those days, take a step back and reflect on how far you've come, because you've come really far. And anchor yourself into Mother Gaia. Anchor yourself. You can picture the golden thread from your light column, from your tailbone, coming down into the core of Mother Gaia to anchor to her core, connect to Mother Gaia. The more we connect to Mother Gaia, the more we can expand and take on higher frequencies. If we're not anchored, they can't give us higher frequencies. We won't be able to embody them, because we won't be able to be here anymore. And we're the ground crew. We're the ones here on Mother Gaia. We're the chosen ones out of our collectives that chose to be here on Mother Gaia. So let's ground. Again, free will. Just recommendations. Ground into Mother Gaia. Ground your energy. The more you ground, the more you can expand. Ore me heketea toe ha masata eketea moto toe. Eketea sa toe ramatatas. Eketea sa toe ha mate oi tata eta. Thank you for holding space. I've been going through some major activations. That girl's got it going on over here. Oh my gosh, I love you guys. Aramatatas, eketea sotoe ha matas. Hey. Oye, hey, moto toe ramatas. Eketea sotoe ramatatas, eketea moe, hey, tata, hey, maatatas, hey, moete, ama. Oh, I love what I do. This is so great. Thank you for holding space. I love you guys so much. I do. I love you all so very much. Sending blessings to you and your family and your friends. I love you. I honor you. I cherish you. I'm so grateful for you. Sending you big love and light. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Love you.